The galaxy had long forgotten the name of Earth for centuries. The great alien empires ruled the stars with unchallenged power. Their fleets stretched across thousands of worlds. Their weapons could burn entire continents. To them, humanity was nothing more than a small race, broken and forgotten after too many wars. But silence is never weakness. Silence can be preparation. And humanity had been silent for a very long time. On the outer edge of the galaxy, near an abandoned mining system, the first sign appeared. Alien patrol ships noticed strange energy readings. At first, they thought it was nothing but a malfunction, a star flare or the ruins of some old battle. But then, shadows emerged from the dark. Ships unlike anything seen before, black steel covered with glowing lines of light. Their hulls sharp like blades, they did not broadcast signals. They did not send warnings, they only moved forward. The alien commander in charge laughed. To him, it looked like an outdated human fleet. Humanity was gone, weak, scattered. They could not possibly return with strength. His fleet prepared to crush them. But the moment he gave the order to fire, everything changed. The human ships unleashed their first strike. It was not a barrage of old missiles nor simple plasma fire. Instead, strange energy beams cut through alien shields as if they were paper. In seconds, the proud alien warships were torn apart. Their massive battle cruisers, which once guarded entire empires, broke like glass under human weapons. The alien commander could only watch in horror as his fleet burned around him. Whispers spread fast, faster than light. Merchant ships carried rumors to nearby colonies. Soldiers in far-off garrisons heard the reports. The humans are back, and they have weapons we cannot stop. In the grand halls of alien rulers, panic grew. The first reports were ignored, dismissed as lies, propaganda, or exaggeration. But then came the undeniable truth. An entire sector, protected by 3 empires together, had fallen in less than a day, and the attackers were not unknown invaders. Not some ancient horror, they were humans. No one could understand how. How could a race once considered weak suddenly hold power to crush entire fleets? What kind of weapons had they built in their silence? Among the humans, there was no celebration. Their return was not for glory. Their mission was cold and simple. They had not forgotten the years of humiliation, when alien empires destroyed their colonies, enslaved their people, and mocked their weakness. Humanity's silence had been filled with building, planning, and preparing for this day. The first strike was only the beginning. In the wreckage of the destroyed patrol fleet, a single alien escape pod drifted into the void inside. The commander, who had once laughed at humanity's return, now trembled in fear. His last transmission spread across the stars before his pod vanished into the black. His voice was broken, filled with terror. We thought they were gone. We thought they were weak, but the humans have returned. That message was enough to shake every empire to its core. Rulers who once spoke with arrogance now sat in silence. Advisors whispered of disaster. Scientists searched for answers. But no empire had any defense against the weapons humans now carried. The strike was not only military, it was psychological. The fear spread faster than the fire of battle. Every empire remembered the cruelty they had once shown to Earth. And now they feared the same cruelty would return to them. From the shadows of forgotten space, the human fleet moved on. They did not stop, they did not slow. One world after another, they struck with precision, destroying fleets before they could even fight back. And for the first time in centuries, the mighty alien empires trembled. The galaxy had believed that humanity was finished. But humanity had been waiting. Humanity had been preparing. Humanity had been sharpening its blade in silence. Now the blade was drawn and the first strike had fallen, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The first strike had ended in silence. The wreckage of alien warships floated like shattered bones in space, their burning hulls drifting through the void. For the first time in living memory, an alien fleet had been destroyed not by rival empires, not by internal rebellion, but by the return of humanity. News traveled faster than any fleet. Merchant ships carried stories of glowing human weapons. Soldiers whispered about fleets that vanished in seconds, and everywhere, one word spread across star systems like wildfire: humans. In the throne rooms of great alien rulers, fear began to take root. The Valen Dominion, whose armies had enslaved countless species, held an emergency council. Their emperor struck the table in anger, his claws cracking the stone. This is impossible. Humanity was broken, humanity was weak, humanity is nothing. But his voice trembled and his generals avoided his eyes. They had seen the reports, they had seen the proof. The impossible had already happened. In the icy courts of the Seraphon Alliance, whispers grew among the nobles. Their shining fleets had always been untouchable. Yet now, rumors said even their strongest shields fell before human fire. One noble asked in a trembling voice, "If humans can destroy fleets, what chance do we have? What chance does anyone have?" Fear spread far beyond the halls of power. In the markets of frontier colonies, alien traders packed their goods in silence, fearing the humans would arrive at any moment. Mothers pulled their children close, telling them never to speak of humanity. Soldiers drank heavily in the barracks, staring at the stars, wondering if death was already flying toward them. But the most dangerous fear grew in the hearts of the rulers themselves. Fear of losing control. Fear of their people turning against them. Already rebellions began to spark. Small colonies once loyal to alien empires refused to pay tribute. Their leaders declared, "The humans have returned, and we stand with them." Entire populations rose up, believing the humans would protect them, believing that the old empires were doomed. The empires tried to respond with force. Fleets were dispatched to crush the rebellions. But every time the same story repeated, human ships appeared out of nowhere, striking with weapons no one could resist. Alien fleets that once enforced fear now became piles of drifting wrecks. In one sector, the Grand Council of the Thalkor met in panic. Their fleets had been their pride, their ships larger than cities, yet now, entire armadas had been wiped out in minutes. The council leader stood, his voice broken. "We are no longer fighting for victory. We are fighting to survive." What terrified them most was not the destruction, it was the mystery. No empire understood how humans had built such weapons. No empire could predict where they would strike next. The galaxy had always been built on balance, one empire against another. But now, humanity was the shadow no one could control. A storm without a pattern, and still the humans gave no message. They sent no declaration of war. They demanded no surrender. They simply struck and vanished, leaving silence and wreckage behind. That silence was worse than threats, worse than any battle cry, for silence meant they did not need to speak. They already knew victory was theirs. In the prisons of alien worlds, whispers turned to hope. Prisoners looked to the sky, believing the humans would come, believing freedom was near. In the war rooms of alien empires, maps were filled with red lines, showing the collapse of defense after defense, and in the hearts of rulers, a single thought burned. If the humans cannot be stopped, then we will all fall. The galaxy had always laughed at humanity, but now no one laughed. For the first time in history, the mighty empires of the stars trembled. The humans had struck once, and it was enough to shake the galaxy to its core. What would happen when they struck again? The galaxy had seen fear before, but never like this. Empires had fought wars for thousands of years. They had faced rebellions, invasions, even ancient monsters from the void. But none of it compared to the quiet terror that came with the return of humanity. For days, alien rulers demanded answers. Scientists were summoned, engineers questioned. Spies sent across the stars, all came back with the same reply. "We do not understand their weapons." What humans used in battle was not plasma, not missiles, not the old crude technology they once had. Their ships carried a new kind of energy, a power that sliced through shields, melted armor, and silenced fleets in moments. Entire databases of alien science could not explain it. It was as if humans had discovered something no one else dared to touch. In the high chamber of the Velthar Empire, a trembling scientist spoke before the Empress. His voice cracked as he whispered, "These weapons, they bend reality itself. They should not exist." The Empress struck him down, but his words could not be silenced. They spread like fire. Humanity has broken the laws of the universe. Rumors grew darker. Some said the humans had captured forbidden knowledge from the ruins of dead civilizations. Others swore they had made alliances with beings beyond the stars, beings even the empires feared to name. And some whispered the most chilling rumor of all, that humanity had done this alone, by sheer will and desperation. But whatever the truth was, the result could not be denied. Where human fleets moved, alien defenses crumbled. Where human weapons fired, the sky itself split apart. The humans gave no explanation. They sent no envoys, they offered no negotiations. Only silence followed by destruction. That silence became the loudest message of all. We do not need words. We have power, And still, humanity's fleets were not the true terror. They were only the shadow of something greater. For deep inside the Sol system, hidden behind walls of secrecy, rested the true weapon, the human armada. It had been built in silence for centuries, massive shipyards orbiting dead moons, hidden from alien eyes. Entire generations of humans had lived and died building it, never speaking of it, never revealing it. The galaxy believed Earth was weak, but while they mocked, Earth had turned itself into a fortress. One survivor from a destroyed alien fleet claimed he had glimpsed it. His voice shook as he described ships larger than any dreadnought, weapons brighter than suns, and above them all, a single warship unlike any other. A titan forged not just for battle but for vengeance. Alien councils dismissed him at first, but when another survivor gave the same story, panic spread again. If even half of it was true. No empire could stand against what was coming across the stars. The alien empires tried desperately to unite. Rulers who had once been enemies sat at the same table. They spoke of alliances. They spoke of peace. They even spoke of begging humanity for forgiveness. But every attempt ended the same way. With silence, humans answered no call, sent no reply. The silence was crushing. It was worse than war itself. Because it meant the humans did not see them as equals. They did not see them as enemies worth negotiating with. They only saw them as targets. And then came the moment that broke the galaxy's last hope. In the middle of a great council meeting, when the rulers of 7 empires gathered to discuss a desperate plan, the stars outside the chamber burned. Human ships had arrived without warning. They did not fire, they did not speak. They only drifted silently above the world where the meeting took place. Every ruler looked to the sky and felt the same chill. They know where we are. They know everything. The humans left as silently as they had come, no shot fired, no fleet destroyed. But the message was clear. Humanity could strike anywhere, anytime, and no one could stop them. The galaxy had always believed power belonged to the empires. But now that illusion was gone, power belonged to humanity. And humanity alone, and still, the secret weapon had not yet been revealed. The armada had not yet moved. The galaxy trembled not because of what they had seen, but because of what they had not. The first strike had shown humanity's return. The silence had shown their cold resolve. But the secret weapon, the full force of humanity, was still waiting in the dark, and when it came, no empire would survive. The galaxy had always believed in strength for centuries. The great alien empires ruled without fear. They built towers of gold, fleets of steel, and monuments that touched the stars. Their power was so vast that no rebellion, no uprising, no rival empire could ever bring them down. But when humanity returned, those towers cracked, those fleets burned, and those monuments turned to dust. It began with the fall of the Valen Dominion. The Dominion had enslaved dozens of worlds, forcing entire species into chains. Their fleets had crushed rebellions before they even began. Yet when the humans arrived, their warships lasted less than an hour. Their proud capital, once believed untouchable, was reduced to silence. The humans left nothing but ruins. And in those ruins, the slaves rose. They broke their chains, shouting one word: humanity. The Seraphon Alliance fell next. Their shimmering fleets once covered the skies like silver clouds. Their rulers declared that no human weapon could break their holy shields. But the humans did not need to break them. They cut through them as if they were never there. Entire armadas vanished in the span of a single battle. The Alliance's temples, carved with the names of every victory, were abandoned, for no victory mattered now. Then came the Thalcor Republic, proud in their size and technology. Their fleets were city-sized fortresses, their armies numbered in the billions. But when humanity struck, none of it mattered. The Republic's soldiers never even saw their enemy before the end. Their fleets went dark, their cities fell silent. Their armies scattered, and across their homeworld, whispers rose in the streets: the humans are gods, and the gods have returned for judgment. Panic turned to chaos. Chaos turned to collapse. Every empire tried to hold its people together, but fear spread faster than orders. Colonies rebelled, armies deserted, and citizens fled. Entire worlds surrendered at the mere rumor of human fleets approaching. And still the humans gave no speeches. No mercy, no warning. They struck, they destroyed. They moved on, leaving silence behind. For the rulers of the galaxy, the greatest terror was not defeat, it was helplessness. In their grand war councils, leaders screamed at each other. Some demanded peace, some demanded surrender. Others demanded desperate final attacks. But all of them knew the truth. The humans had already won. The empires were only pretending to fight. On one world, 7 alien emperors gathered. Desperate to form an alliance, they swore unity, swore to set aside their rivalries, swore to fight together, but even as they spoke, human ships descended from orbit. The skies turned black with steel, beams of white light split the air, and in minutes, the palace where they met was nothing but ash. Their alliance had ended before it even began. Rebellion grew everywhere. Alien slaves and conquered races who had lived under empire rule for centuries now rose with courage. They painted the human symbol on walls, carried it on banners, and shouted in the streets, "The humans are coming and the empires are falling." To them, humanity was not just a destroyer, it was freedom, but to the rulers, humanity was death. The fall of each empire sent shockwaves through the galaxy, and with every empire that collapsed, the others grew weaker. Each defeat was not just military, it was psychological. It told the galaxy one truth no one could stand. The most chilling part was that humanity had not even unleashed its true weapon. The hidden armada had not yet moved. These strikes were only fragments, shadows of the full force waiting behind Seoul. And still the galaxy was burning. The galaxy's mighty had always believed themselves eternal. But now they were nothing but ruins. Their capitals glowed with fire. Their fleets drifted as wreckage. Their names cursed in whispers. Humanity had turned their power into dust. For the first time in history, the galaxy was united in one feeling: fear. And that fear was not of chaos, nor of rival empires, it was of humanity. The race they had mocked, the race they had enslaved, the race they thought broken. Now standing as judgment, the empires had fallen, and the message was carved into every ruined world. When humanity strikes, nothing survives. The galaxy burned. Worlds that once shone with wealth and pride now drifted as ruins. Fleets that once guarded the stars now floated as broken shadows. The mighty alien empires, once eternal and untouchable, had fallen one by one, and at the heart of their fall was a single truth: humanity had struck back. But the story did not end with the collapse of fleets or the destruction of capitals. The true legacy of humanity's return lived in the silence that followed. Silence that spread across thousands of systems. Silence that carried a message more powerful than any weapon. In the wreckage of the Dominion, freed slaves raised banners. They sang songs of humanity, though they had never met a human. To them, the humans were not conquerors, but liberators. They whispered, "If humanity could fight back, so can we." In the broken temples of the Seraphon, priests fell silent. They had once declared their gods eternal, but now they admitted in fear, "Perhaps the humans are the gods we prayed to all along." Even in the deepest chambers of the surviving rulers, the lesson was clear. They no longer asked, "How can we win?" Instead, they asked, "How can we survive?" The truth was undeniable. Humanity did not just return with weapons. They returned with something greater. They had changed the balance of the galaxy forever, and yet the most terrifying fact remained hidden. The great human armada, forged in silence, still waited in Seoul. The ships that had struck terror across the stars were only the first wave, only fragments of the full power humanity now carried. The empires had fallen before the storm had even begun. For the humans, there was no celebration, no cheering, no glory. Their faces were hard, their eyes cold. They remembered too well the years of humiliation, when their colonies were burned, their children enslaved, their name mocked in alien tongues. This was not victory, it was justice. But justice to humans was terror to the galaxy. Every alien ruler knew that even if humanity stopped today, the memory would never fade, the fear would never fade. The galaxy would forever tremble at the thought. If they rise again, if they strike again, none of us will survive. The humans knew this too, and that was their greatest weapon. Fear was stronger than any beam, stronger than any ship. Fear could keep entire empires on their knees without firing a single shot. In the centuries to come, children across the stars would hear the same story told in whispers before sleep. Once the empires mocked the humans. Once they broke them. Once they believed Earth was weak. But when humanity struck back, the stars themselves trembled. The galaxy became a quieter place. No empire dared raise its voice too loud. No fleet dared move too boldly, for everyone knew the same truth. If they angered humanity, the silence would break, and the storm would return, and so the humans stood, Not as victims, not as survivors, but as the shadow over every star. The legacy of humanity was carved into every ruin, every surrender, every fearful whisper. It was not a story of conquest. It was not a story of survival. It was a story of power, of patience, of vengeance, a story that would never be forgotten. And in the darkness of space, where the human armada still waited, silent and ready, one truth echoed louder than all others. Do not mistake mercy for weakness, for when humanity strikes back, no empire is safe.